Is Marvel Studios setting up a West Coast Avengers team? Well, we've been hearing some pretty persistent rumors, and given the massive expansion coming to the Vision series on Disney+, well, all the pieces seem in place, and now the rumor mill and scooper train has chimed in. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about all the most recent reports involving the upcoming Vision series, how this could tie into the West Coast Avengers, and why, well, quite honestly, Marvel Studios and Disney clued this in quite a while ago. Now, following a ton of reports that lots is happening with the Vision show, we heard Elizabeth Olsen might return, as well as James Spader as Ultron. Well, we're now hearing some other major Marvel characters could be part of the series. Now, if you're a fan of Marvel Comics, you know there have been multiple iterations of the Avengers, and one of the most famous break-off themes of the Avengers is the West Coast Avengers. And many fans have noticed for quite a while, many of these characters are in play now within the MCU. Now, this has led to a ton of speculation over time, and, well, quite honestly, the scoopers have now started to chime in, and we want to take it with a grain of salt because we have absolutely no verification of that at this point, but we are going to talk a little bit about this team and why it actually might really work within the current Marvel Universe. Now, in case you didn't know, this particular chapter of Earth's Mightiest Heroes was formed by Hawkeye way back in the 1980s, and like any Avengers team, it has gone through many revisions over the years. The original lineup included Vision, Mockingbird, Wonder Man, Tigra, and a James Rhodes version of Iron Man. Now, the team itself also included many other names throughout its history, including the Scarlet Witch, Wasp, Hank Pym, and even Moon Knight. And as you all know, almost all of these characters exist within the MCU construct. To be fair, there was a later iteration of the team where Hawkeye led the team, but did include some other non-traditional members, including Kate Bishop, American Chavez, and even Gwenpool. Although I really doubt that's what's being set up, it does remain as a distinct possibility. Many months ago, we were hearing that Marvel Studios and, well, Disney was going to lean into successful franchises, and expanding the Avengers franchise with the West Coast team, as well as a potential Young Avengers team, seems like something that Marvel would definitely do to sort of shore up the brand. Now, Hollywood insider and scooper Daniel Rickman has recently reported that some of these West Coast Avengers team members could be part of the upcoming Vision series. And honestly, looking at this trilogy of shows, WandaVision, Agatha All Along, and then the Vision series, well, as laying the framework for a future Avengers team, that does make a lot of sense. And at the pace this has been coming together, well, it would actually work. The West Coast Avengers are probably the most popular alternate Avengers team from that era, and the comics themselves were super popular with fans and something I think fans could coalesce around. Now, the Vision show is still pretty far out and is set to release in 2026, so we really need to pay close attention over the next year or two to what happens to many of these characters. I actually think there's a strong possibility that Wanda Maximoff could appear in the upcoming Agatha series, and we know Wonder Man has his own series that is finished production. So many of these pieces for this team are actually in place, and honestly, I don't really see a reason why Marvel wouldn't do this. Now, I don't think this would be a sort of competitive franchise to the primary Avengers team, and it might even be something that ends up as a streaming show and not as a full-fledged movie, but all of this is pure speculation. The Avengers is a brand that is very recognized, and you know Marvel is definitely looking for ways to bring this team to life, but if they're able to do it, that is the huge question. I think Jeremy Renner leading up a team of familiar but new faces to the MCU is something that has a lot of merit, especially after watching him somewhat take up a leadership role in his own series with Kate Bishop. Now, as for Vision and the rest of the characters in the show, well, there's still a ton of questions up in the air. We last saw the rebuilt White Vision at the end of WandaVision. It appeared Wanda Maximoff may have died at the end of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but I suspect the upcoming Vision show will pull back the curtain on all of these details and will have answers to those questions, which will eventually answer the question about the West Coast Avengers. In any case, the expansion of the Avengers team is always something that's exciting. I would love to see some of these new faces come together in their own team, and it's also a great opportunity to introduce many of the other characters that have been part of the team but might not have appeared on the small or big screen. First one comes to my mind is Tigra. Now, obviously, we're following Marvel and the Avengers very closely. I do hope the West Coast Avengers do find their way to life in the MCU, but I'm hoping for a different sort of team here, not a reflection of the other Avengers, but their own thing, maybe a little more grounded, but hopefully just as fun and exciting.